Welcome back to Living 757. Alexis, do you know that in July is going to be effective a new law that's going to affect a lot of drivers in Virginia?
Yes, I heard a little bit about it, but I'd like to learn more.
Well, luckily for us, we have a special guest to talk about that and so much more. Let's welcome back to the show Nick Woodhouse from Huffman Huffman Brothers in Law. How are you, Nick?
Good. Thanks for having me back.
Well, we're so excited to have you back all the time because we learn so much when you guys here. Now, tell me about this new law that's going to be effective July 1st and how this is going to affect drivers.
Well, it's really going to have an impact on every driver in Virginia. And previously, you used to be able to, if you didn't have insurance, you could pay a $500 fee to DMV, get your car registered, and be on your way. But effective July 1st of this year, so right now, that's no longer the case. You have to show proof of insurance to DMV in order to register a vehicle. And that's going to change a lot of things because if you're not compliant with that, you run the risk of having your license suspended, having to pay a reinstatement non-compliance fee of $600, and several other things. They're going to make you re-register your car. Your plates are no longer valid. You've got to get new plates. So there's huge financial implications.
Let me see if I get it right. So now it's going to be suspended before we have it, we have to have insurance when we're going to register the car?
Yes, that's correct. You've got to have insurance in place, show that proof of financial responsibility to DMV. And then later on, if there's a lapse or you discontinue coverage for some reason and DMV finds out about that, they'll administratively suspend your license and you'll have to go through a whole litany of things to go through to get things back to normal. And it's going to be expensive.
That sounds expensive.
Yeah, and with having the insurance, not only is the requirement different, but isn't there also going to be an increase in the limit that you have to have in 2025? And what does that actually mean?
That's correct. So in January of 2025, so this coming year, the insurance minimum limits in Virginia are going up to $50,000 per person, $100,000 per accident. And what that means is if you happen to be injured in a vehicle, in a car accident due to someone else's fault, and there's only one person in the vehicle, it's just you driving alone, that other insurance carrier for the at-fault party could pay at the most $50,000 to you to compensate you for your injuries. Now, if there's two or more people in the car, that limit goes up to 100. So that's what that particular aspect of the law means.
And what is the best insurance to have when it comes to, in order to protect us and our family?
Well, honestly, the most that you can afford. We would recommend at least $100,000 to $300,000, so that would be $100,000 per person in an accident, up to $300,000 per accident. So if there's multiple people in your car and they're all injured, then they would be that $100,000 limit would be available to them, but it would have to be some sort of split. So as you can see, that coverage, due to the high amount of medical costs these days, that coverage can be expended very quickly. So that's why we recommend higher limits.
It is really hard because when it comes to insurance, guys, you have to do your homework and investigate deeply because sometimes, for me, it's very confusing sometimes.
Yes, and is that the reason for the increase is because medical has increased, or is there a purpose for it?
I think so. I think the cost of medical care, if you look today versus 10 or 20 years ago, that cost is going to be exponentially higher. So in order to offset that so that you're not stuck with medical bills due to someone else's fault, we've got to have those limits higher, and that's what the legislature has done. And now Virginia, coming in 2025, will have one of the highest. There's only a few states that have limits that high.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. I know with all the new laws that are changing on July 1st, I did not understand the popularity of roadkill and the laws that are changing with that. And so this has been the question I've been itching to ask is what is going on with that?
Sure. So this comes up. Unfortunately, wild animals do get hit by vehicles.
Yes.
I think this is maybe more geared towards rural areas, maybe not so much around Hampton Roads, though I did see a deer on Warwick Boulevard about a couple weeks ago.
I was about to say the same. I saw many deer sometimes on the side of the road. You know, that it's so sad to see them there. But, yeah.
Absolutely. So now that the law is actually limited to deer, elk, bear, and turkey. If you happen to hit one of those and that animal loses their life, you do have the ability to claim that. You would contact either a park ranger if the one is in your area or the police. They would make a report and you can take that. And that differs from the previous law, which only allowed people who had been involved in the accident, who had hit the animal, claim them. but now I guess anybody can.
So how that was gonna work if it left? I'm still
It
confused.
is a bit odd.
It is amazing. So
We were trying to figure out who is the main person who picks up roadkill.
Exactly.
You may not have the
Well,
answer,
I
but
think
what's
that's
the purpose?
I think that's through the VDOT, Virginia Department
Oh,
of
okay,
Transportation.
that's
They would be
so
in
that's the
charge of
first
that.
person that you had to get in touch. Wow, I will never see that look coming. Well,
Well-
but it always is new things to learn, right?
Yes, absolutely. I'm not a hunter, but if you're feeling adventurous, maybe you can avail yourself of the new law and new
That
abilities.
is true. Well, Nick, thank you so much. You guys always teach us with so many rules and things. Thanks for having for coming here today and teach us about that.
Yes, thank you.